When you're a guy in our position, you can't expect no type of help. You can't expect no type of sanctuary. You can't expect no type of mercy. In the world that we live in today, being a lonely male, being isolated, and being devastated, not only do you have a target on your back from strangers and people that you don't even know, but there's people in your own family. There's, old friends or acquaintances that used to know you that expect you to quote unquote do more with your life and all that. But in all reality, if you're a guy in our position, you shouldn't have that mindset of trying to save the world and trying to, be a superhero. If anything, you should have the mindset of a villain because the world has treated you like a villain. That was my old channel's name because the world treated me like I was the bad guy. The world treated me like I was the villain. The world didn't treat me like somebody who, you know, had compassion, had understanding for others, who didn't bother nobody. I stayed out the way. As I really start to think about my life, and I think about all the things that I've been through, just within the last 5 years, really, or the last 3 years, really, like my life has changed significantly. Just a few years ago, I was a mentally ill NEET, living with my grandmother, you know, fighting my demons, trying to make it in rap music, trying to make beats, trying to create something. And right when I started to get like a little buzz, because before I came in this community, I was in the little producer community or whatever. And right when I was trying to catch a little buzz, my grandma gets sick. She passes away. Then my uncle passed. Both my aunties passed. And it's like, I've just been targeted by this universe. And it makes life worse, especially when you're a person of a certain skin color configuration and you just want to be left alone. Like, I don't want to deal with people that look at me and they don't like me based on my appearance. But I have to go out there into that bad world and be bothered with people that don't really care about me and they don't like me and they don't even know me. I don't want to deal with that negative energy every single day. I want to be around people that give a fuck about me, that like me, that want to support me, that want to see me win. Like, why can't we just be happy in this life? All I want to do is smoke my weed and make music. That's all I want to do. Start working on my little anime that I'm working on, finish my little novel. Why can't I just do what I want and be successful? It's it's aggravating that you have people spying on your channel, listening to what you're saying and trying to use it against you, you know, and you're just trying to just mind your business and stay out the way. But people seem to fixate and fast and just, I don't know. It's just some demiurge loose energy. And another thing is that a lot of us, man, we haven't really found that partner in our life. We haven't really found that girl in our life that can really help us, man. Despite what people say, having that right girl in your life can change everything. Even if you're going through all this hell and all this crap in life, having that right woman in your life, it can make you so freaking happy. When you're a lonely male, you've been isolated and you've been devastated, and your family had high expectations for you, and you quote unquote failed those expectations, but were never given the roadmap to success. I can show you right now why I'm talented and why I deserve to be in a certain position. But then life would show me, oh, because you don't have this artificially created construct that we call money, that you're a quote unquote loser. Okay, so let's let a nuclear apocalypse happen. You know, now everybody's in the same playing field. Now it goes back to how they did it back in the days, like the days of the Vikings and the days of Alexander the Great, where you just go and take stuff. Where life was more understanding, if you will. But when you're somebody that people can't really crack open and they don't understand, especially when you're the quiet one in the family, when you're the quiet one in the family, everybody wants to know what you're thinking. They want to know what you're doing. They'll call you a loser, but yet they'll be invested in watching you and spying on you secretly, you know, and they put so much emotional energy towards you. It's weird. If somebody really thinks you're a loser and a failure, why do they pay attention to you? Why can't they just go about their life? Nobody doesn't, put so much attention onto somebody that they call a loser and a failure. You must have something about you, all of us. We may be rejected men. We may be, excess men. We may have never had the girl that we really wanted in our life. But there's something about this. There's something about this, and there's something about us. There's something about this situation that we find ourselves in, how we can see life with such clarity. It's like a twisted a twisted evil gift, if you will, when you're able to see the world for what it is, when you're able to see women's true nature, when you're able to see people's true nature. When you don't have anything and you're at the bottom, look around. And if you don't see anybody around, and if one day you get to the top and then people magically appear, that should tell you everything. A lot of us have dreams, or we had dreams and ambitions of achieving amazing things. But once you reach that certain age, and you start to just realize that I'm the same age when I was like 15 or when I was in my early 20s, that I imagined being something or being a somebody. But I've never had the chance to do it because this world wants you working this 9 to 5 and going to this school, going to there. When it comes to building something or trying to create a YouTube channel or trying to make it in music, you have to go all in. Or you have to go all in when you're young, when you have the youthful energy and vigor. Who gives a damn if you're over the age of 25 or in your early 30s and you finally get a girlfriend? You don't even have the experience or the emotional capacity that you would have when you're younger. There's a certain energy when you're young and in your youth and you have sex on the beach or you get your cock sucked, by the damn boat. Then when you're old, it's like when you're older, you get tired quicker. You kind of just want to you get sleepy more faster. You just want to just lay down and just not be bothered. But when you're young, you're more adventurous when you're young. That's when you want to have your girlfriend. That's when you want to have that girl in your life, You don't want to be an old person trying to relive your youthful days that you never lived, because at the end of the day, you're not that same person. Your hairline's pushed back. Your sense of style is out of date. Hell, even the language that you use is out of date. Like when I was younger, we had a thing called, because I grew up in the 90s pretty much, in the early aughts, but it went from having gear. Oh man, you got some gear, man. Look at that gear. Oh, that gear is nice. Oh man, you got some gear. Oh man. Then it went to like swag. Oh man, you got swagger. And then now the kids call it drip nowadays. Oh, you got drip. And I don't know what the younger gen is calling it, but it's like those are all code words for what you're wearing and how you look like and stuff. And I was never really a fashion Madonna. I was the type of person that pretty much wore the same shit to school all the time. Like the same pants, just maybe a different shirt, if that. The same shoes throughout the whole year. Because I didn't have that much money to really afford it. Like my mom's just a single mom trying her best to provide the best for me when I was growing up. I really thought that I was going to make it in music. I truly believed it. I believed I had the talent, I had the resilience, I had the persistence, and I had the ability and the mental capacity and the propensity and the intensity to actually make it in music, man. I believe that shit, man. I put my heart and soul into it. And then I get this life that I'm in now, homeless. I never thought in a million years that I would be this homeless. I went through like homeless spouts in my life before, living in like motels, with my grandmother and stuff like that for like months on end and stuff like that, getting kicked out of houses because we're behind in rent. But this is my first time when I'm truly on my own. I can't go to my grandmother. I can't go to any friends or anybody's house, And you have to make it on your own. There's no guidebook for survival for a man. They just tell you to go out there and get it. But when you do something illegal and get it, then the law punishes you. But yet they can have Epstein Island and make billions of dollars, and nobody knows how Epstein got his money. What did Epstein do for a living? No one knows. But then if you take $1 out of your banking account, they want to have a tracking for that. We live in a system of the haves and the have-nots. We live in a system of oppression where those who are in the power and the position, they oppress you. And they do it right in front of our faces. And when you're a lonely guy, you ain't got no woman, you ain't got no girl that really, sometimes just after a hard day's work or hard days of, going through it, you just want a girl just to hug with and to cuddle with you, right? You want a girl to cook you a nice home cooked meal, give you fellatio with a high ratio. These are the things that you want. These are the things that you dream of. You don't want to be in a situation where it's like every single day you struggle to get up, and then you start having these thoughts of septuple. And when that creeps in, you know you're in a severe emotional situation. When you start thinking about thoughts of septuple, you start thinking about thoughts of just saying fuck it. You know what I mean? There's no point to continue this miserable existence because persistence proves invalid. Persistence proves that it doesn't mean anything. Because you're supposed to experience those wonderful experiences with women when you're young. I can't emphasize this enough. You can be like, oh man, yo, women are not that important. Okay, well, if that's the case, then how come a lot of us are in this position? A lot of guys in this position, they just magically don't have girlfriends either. It's like magically you're a loser in your room all day. You watch anime, whatever, but you also don't have a girlfriend. That correlates, you know? Maybe if you would have had a girlfriend before you got in your room all day, maybe that girlfriend or that good girl in your life would have inspired you to actually, quote unquote, live your life. Because it's hard to, quote unquote, live your life and pick yourself up by your bootstraps when you don't have no love and no validation. You see, being validated by a beautiful woman can raise a man's belief in himself. You can do the impossible if you have a beautiful woman in your life. If you have a gorgeous girl in your life that's, giving you fellatio with a high ratio, you're having sexual alleviation, it gives you extra energy to do things in life. It gives you extra energy to bullshit. Like, imagine this: you're in our situation. You're not you're not the most handsome. You're still living with your parents. You work a dead end job. Your mom, your dad, everybody talks to you crazy. Everybody thinks less of you, and you know it. As soon as you come in the room, the energy changes. you know. But if you had a good girl in your life, you probably be focusing on, well, fuck that. People may look at you or talk about you a certain way, but you just got through making love with the girl of your dreams. So you're going to walk around with that energy. You're going to walk around with that pep in your step, and there's nothing that people can do or say to ruin your mood. Think about, oh, you're a loser. You go, okay. Because after you just got through, having that sexual alleviation, there's that energy, there's that synergy that you feel, after you make love with that girl, you look in her eyes, she smiles at you. That's going to stick with you, and that energy is going to follow you throughout your day. So let's say you're going to the mall or you're going to some place and there's an elevator and somebody cuts you off and they go in the elevator before you and they close the door and they don't leave the door open. You're not going to even let that bother you. You're going to be like, okay, whatever. I got a beautiful girl waiting for me at home. I don't care. Nothing can make me mad, But then when you're in our position, just like that door hitting that dead corpse right there, when you're in this position, life keeps hitting you and hitting you and hitting you and hitting you, right? And then if you don't have anything to really fall back on, those hits and those wounds are going to get more severe. They're going to get more intense. I don't know what this world is trying to do besides loose from us. We're all being loosed right now, whether you want to believe it or not. There's an invisible evil God who claims to be the real God, but it's really an evil bastard that purposely made the world for what it is, to make our lives hard. I think about all the little shit I've been through. It's like, how the fuck do I make a little random YouTube channel and I'm just talking about my life? Nobody cares. Nobody notices. Then I start to get popular on the internet. And then all of a sudden I get obsessed trolls. I get my, family members who don't even like me and I don't like them either, that watch my channel. They watch every single video and then they act like they're not, because what they're doing is obsessive. And it goes into cyber stalk. There's cyber stalking laws for people that cyber stalk you and try to impersonate you and get you doxxed and kicked out. That can be punished by the law. When you gather up enough evidence of people doing that, you can actually start prosecution and be like, okay, this is the person that did that, and then the police can get involved, find out who these people are, find that they can try to hide their IP all they want. They'll find out who these people are, and then there will be some legal persecution. Because it's just ridiculous. Like, what did I do to deserve a life like this? When all I wanted to do was make music and be happy. I ain't bother nobody. People came and bothered me first. One thing you have to understand is I never beef with nobody on the internet. People talked about me first. People make videos about me first. People attack me first. And all I do is just retaliate back and say, stop that and leave me alone. And then they go and it's like, who are these people? And then you got to think about, will I ever see these people in real life, and how would that go? Imagine the person who doxed me and I get to see him face to face in real life. How would that go? Even people that I was around in real life who watch my channel and troll me, and these people don't say anything to my face. They act like, but they do little passive aggressive shit. And I got it all recorded, you know. you know, when you're a rejected man and when you're a guy that's isolated and devastated, life is going to keep throwing crap at you no matter how nice of a person you are. Now I see why people turn to the dark side. I see why people turn into villains, because life will turn you into a villain. I have done nothing wrong to nobody. I've never lied, you know. I got on here and told the truth, which is why people doxed me, you know. I get on here and I speak the truth, which is why people were able to use what I say in my videos against me. These people sent my mom my channel, they sent her husband the channel, then they took my words and then they edit the videos out of context. Then they sit there and pretend it to be me and threaten, her husband, and then he gets all scared or whatever, and it kicks me out. Now I'm homeless with nothing. That's criminal prosecution. You don't do no shit like that to nobody. Ain't do nothing wrong to you. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the hell? What's wrong with you? And then that's to let me know there's no such thing as karma, because if there was karma, those people would have got karma back at them. Yet nothing happens to those type of people. Nothing happens to the Chads or the Tyrones who mistreat girls and all that. They get more girls because they mistreat girls. But if you're that nice guy who tries to treat Sally, to a nice dinner and a nice movie, guess what's going to happen to you? She's going to take those flowers you give her and throw them in the trash. And that's happened to me before, back in like 8th grade, this one girl, I gave her, chocolates and like flowers on Valentine's Day. Then I left them. One of my homies, I think I told the story before on my other channel, but one of my homies, or a couple of my homies, who was in that little park or whatever, in that little basketball gym or whatever inside the little, gym area, they saw her and her friends just throw the flowers away. And then they ate the chocolates and gave the chocolates to some of the Chads and the Tyrones that were playing basketball, And I'm like, damn. And then the next day, the girl sees me and just ignores me and doesn't say anything to me. So it's like, I've been through I got so many stories about that, about, women just mistreating me, life mistreating me, and all this drama and problems that I have to go through and what I'm dealt with, man. It's like, you go through so much shit in this world. It's not even funny. How do they expect men to be happy when you don't even have a good woman in your life? Where, like, there's nothing really in this world to live for, man. Honestly, when you're a rejected guy, there's no point of waking up sometimes, it feels. And then it's like my privacy has been violated. When I made this channel, I didn't want my bitch ass cousin to watch my channel and sit here and try to read my mind and pick apart what I'm saying in my videos. That's private. It's not for him. Like, I make these videos for strangers, people that I don't know in real life, people that can relate to me, people that I probably never will see, but they connect to me in these videos. It's not for my family member. I don't even know how he found my channel. Like, how did he find it? And then how did like the wrong people find? I was talking to some people. They're like, bro, my situation is so rare because most people who make videos, they don't get this level of trolling where somebody doxes you, finds out your name, finds out every single channel you've ever had, goes through all this and, makes all these different types of medias about you. It's like this person is fixated on you, Like, what did you do to this person? I didn't do shit to this person, This person's already making videos and, all type of shit about me way before I even knew who this person even was, or these people. It's more than one person. It's a group of people. It's like, you may think, okay, that's nothing, but when somebody gets you kicked out of your house and got you homeless, that's something that's serious. That's something that you just don't take lightly. That's something that you need to get some persecution involved, And I'm not even a guy, a police type of guy, nothing like that. But when it comes to something like this, this is something that you document, because it's like, I'm a nobody. I only had 3,500 subscribers on my last channel. That's like a drop in the water. How am I able to attract these type of trolls and these type of people who go to the extreme like that? Is my voice really that powerful? It has to be, because if I'm a nobody, nobody's going to go that. No one's going to put that emotional energy to try to find out your name, find out all your, I'm talking about YouTube channels I haven't been on in years, screenshot pictures of the background on yours. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, are you that much of a loser with no life? And this is my last time addressing it because it's just nerve wracking that I'm in a homeless position because of some random racists on the internet. Because I was too truthful in my videos. Because these people are nothing and they're nobodies. Honestly. But they're able to affect my life, and then I can't retaliate back. And my whole life has been like that. I've always been around people who were able to do whatever they want to me, but I can never retaliate back to them. You know, I gotta walk on eggshells. I gotta walk and tiptoe around. I gotta get disrespected and mistreated. But I can't just fucking rap and make a hit song and get $100,000 and be a millionaire. You know, you know. I can't just get $100,000 to get myself out this situation and then keep on making music and become a multi fucking millionaire. But Kendrick Lamar can make it. You know. And no offense, and I'm not saying like, and I like Kendrick Lamar, so much respect to Kendrick Lamar, but I'm just saying like, I'm talented as well. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, why the fuck can I make it? Why can I get to the top of this world? Why can I have the things that I want in this world? I love rapping. I just want to make music. My heart and soul is not, for the warehouse. It's not for the docks. It's not for, being a wage, a wagey and a cagey, My life is, I want to be creative and innovative. I want to create things. This is what I want. This is what I love. I want to make music for a living. I want to find the girl that I really love and be happy. Why did my life turn out like this where all I want to do is make music and be happy and everybody calls me a loser, But nobody calls me a loser to my face. Everybody always talks behind my back or they get behind troll accounts and they do this little, it's weird. It's like, why don't you call me a loser and a failure to my face and see what happens? Why are you watching my channel if you don't like me? Just leave me the fuck alone. I'm nobody. It's like, how do you get people obsessed with you in a negative way to the point where they go the extreme? They take it too far. Who does that to somebody who's nothing? Like these people treat like, I think I'm going to be famous one day, even though I'm old and, look how I'm being treated online. That's the marks of somebody that's going to be somebody one day. And yeah, I know it could be cold because I'm old, but still, there's something about me that I don't know. I think I have the divine spark that Sophia gives. And the demiurge and his minions, they attack me because of my divine spark. Because the God of this world, it doesn't like creativity. It doesn't like innovation. It likes servitude. You must be obedient and obey it without questioning it. And I'm a type of person, I question things, Why would a good, loving, and caring God make a world like this? Where destruction and corruption and sexual seductions rule, where things have to be deleted and neutralized in order for other things to parasite and feed off of them. Like, why would a loving being create a world like this? This is not a good world, and we don't live in a happy-dappy world. We live in an evil, twisted, sick, sadistic world. All I ever wanted was peace and tranquility. I never thought that my videos would reach this many people. I'm still shocked. Not as shocked as my last show. My channel was bigger, but I looked at my numbers earlier. I'm like, dang, bro, I managed to gain 1,000 subscribers in 4 months. You know what I mean? And like, I started under, I started this channel, like under like being inside some asshole's apartment under a pillow fort. You know what I mean? That's when I started this channel, just to keep my mind right, with somebody actively trying to break me and destroy me and trying to mess with me and then lie and say they're not. It's like, bro, don't you know I recorded everything you did? All the little passive aggressive, all the little crap. Don't you know I recorded all of that? So if you ever try to say, I didn't do nothing to him. No, I didn't do nothing to him. Like, yeah, well, I got all this right here, all this evidence, So go ahead. Right? All I ever wanted was to be free, to do my own thing in this world and be happy. I didn't want all these problems and all this fucking drama. But yet I got it. Notice it's always the people that like this life knows I'm not going to flip out on certain people because I'm thinking about my future. But if I was some criminal miscreant or some deviant or some thug associated with gangs and affiliated with all that, right? If I was deep in that, this life will put me around people that I can be, that would be scared of me. But instead, it puts me around people who take advantage of me. They take advantage of my kindness. They take my kindness for weakness. But if I was Tyrone, these people would leave me the hell alone, you know? Honestly.